Going live with ROC in a little bit. Reach Over Culture. It's going to be dope, man. Super excited. Super excited. Wait for everybody. Yes, sir. It's going to be. And we back. We back. Huh? E, what up? Jamie. Sue Bird. Taylor, what up, man? Taylor, my brother. Oh. We in the building, gang. It's about to be good, man. It's going to be the one of many collabs, man. One of many collabs. So we'll wait for everyone to get in here. Pause. Dope, man. I'm back. I'm back. He's a fool, bro. He is a fool. No, man, I'm super excited for this, man. Maybe I change your accent when you Hey, bro, it's just, for the culture. Oh, there he is. There he is right now. I'm going to invite him. Or how you invite somebody to be in. There he is. Hey, there he is, man.
Well, hello.
What's going on, man? Long time coming.
What it do, baby? What's happening?
Chilling, bro. How you doing, bro?
Man, I can't complain, man. I can't complain. It's a Monday. It's a Monday. We here. We alive. Shout out everybody on this beautiful Monday. Happy to be a part of what you're doing, bro.
Bro,
word.
Likewise, man. I'm happy to be a part of you, like what you're doing, man. What you're doing is changing stuff, man. And also, man, I can't let you live, dog. That Pelicans joint you did on Facebook.
Hold on. Wait. How'd you say that? Shout out to the Pelicans. We back at it.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to the Pelicans. Listen, today is still not a day to mourn. It's not a day to be sad. I woke up joyful 2 days in a row. God is good. If y'all didn't know, Alvin Gentry is out, right?
Yeah, no, we know, man.
God has the final say. He even has the final say in sports. We going up next year. Next year, we go up. Get Mark Jackson. I know we got the presidential election and everything going on right now. I know it's real life issues, but like y'all fighting for Biden or Trump, get Mark Jackson into the Pelicans front office.
That'd be dangerous, man. That'd be dangerous.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Also, shout out to my guys at the town. You should be here. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all my guys. Gotta do that.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Also, if you need jewelry, go shout out to at Ryan Ann Marie _ at Ryan Ann Marie. I just gotta do it every time I'm touching a platform and doing something.
Go ahead, bro.
Yes, sir. But shout out to my guys at the town at MC Merch. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you can still get these, but just go shop with my guys, see what's happening. You know what's up when I'm rolling up. Yeah, what up, Rob?
Yeah, what up, Rob? Yeah, bro. I need to get some MC merch, bro. Facts.
Man, get you some, man. Bro. Man, get you some, man. Get you some. So what's up, man? What we doing? What we talking about today, man?
Bro, I wanted to get your kind of why you do what you do, like what made you start your podcast and want to come on this platform, all that kind of stuff, bro. Because like it's good, man, and I know this stuff didn't just come out of nowhere. So kind of tell me about that.
Yeah. Reach Over Culture, man. It was sparked. It was given to me after I had just got done doing an internship at a church out in Dallas, Texas, and I was just kind of looking for my next way in ministry. You know, I didn't really feel like being at that particular church was the right move for me going forward. I felt like I was being pigeonholed in a sense. And so I was kind of praying about what the next move was, and God had dropped a podcast on me, and I had never started a podcast before. So I was like, bro, I'm absolutely clueless, even though I had been listening to podcasts for 2 years straight. And I was just like, what would it be about? All I knew was it would be an extension, another form of creative ministry for me.
That's tough.
And You know, as just how he gave me the name and everything lines up with ROC, what people already call me. So Reach Over Culture, ROC, ROC, it just all started to line up. And he just gave me a vision just to go put what was ever on my heart. I recorded my first podcast, though, on the wire, headphones, connected to the phone joint. You know what I'm saying? So the cameras and the microphones and everything that you see today, it didn't start out like that. It started off with the headphone joints plugged up. And, I had an app through Spreaker, who I still use. I wasn't even paying for a plan. I had like 15 minutes. I had the free plan where you go and do 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But Reach Over Culture is about, you know, the culture that we live in. We constantly, especially as believers, colliding like our personal culture with our faith walk. It seems like they're always hitting each other, you know, because it's like you want to continue to develop in your faith walk. At the same time, you know, culture says differently. Culture says be whoever you want to be, think however you want to think, do whatever you want to do. And, you know, you got old school Christians and your youth pastor and everybody else telling you, nah, don't live the way of the world. Don't, you know, conform to the ways of the world, different things like that. So our verse scripture has always been Romans 12:2. Or just do not conform to the ways of the world. I feel like there's a way you can balance being a part of the culture and having faith. And if you balance it right enough, that the reach that your faith gives you, that you get from the word, that you get from prayer, and that you get from your walk of God, can help propel you over what culture says you have to be or what you have to look like, even as a believer. So Reach Over Culture is all about balancing the two, but allowing the reach that God has given you yourself to be, to go into different cultures, not just the culture that you surround yourself with, but different cultures as a whole. You know, it's same thing that Jesus did, same thing that the disciples did. They didn't care who, where they were, what culture that they were a part of, what culture that they even came from. The reach that God had given them and the ministry that God had given them was more important and more significant than what was in front of them. So that's kind of the basis behind, you know, Reach Over Culture.
Bro,
So,
I love that. That's tough, man. That's
Appreciate
everything. That's everything.
Appreciate that, man. It's been a blessing. And then it's just like the reach, even with the identifying reach, it looks different. Like I really think that we're headed into a realm of unorthodox ministry where the rules are the same, the testaments are the same, the word is the word, the commandments are the commandments. It's gonna look different, you know, moving forward. We live in unorthodox times, so we need unorthodox methods, whether it's podcasts or whether it's music, or, you know, even when you listen to Christian artists today. Shout out to P. Career, shout out to Hip Hop's MC.
Yeah, shout out to P. Yeah,
it sounds different. It's not the same as it's usually been. And, you know, in order to get through these unorthodox times, we're gonna need unorthodox methods. So even the Reach Over Culture, it's just about being unorthodox but being you at the same time. So tell me about the Shed podcast, bro. I gotta know, what's the Shed podcast about? What's the basis of it? How'd you get inspired to do it?
Man, I don't even know if my mind equals up to yours. You know what I'm saying? It's just, no, I'm kidding. So, man, you know me, man. I try to hide from the cameras. I try to, you know what I'm saying? And a lot like yours. Yeah, facts. And a lot of what it was, man, was our country was going through a lot of stuff, like with the Rona, and then with like Black Lives Matter. And then I was actually going through something with the church. Like I got attacked by a lot of church members, like a lot of, and you know what I'm saying? I won't go through names and stuff like that, but I couldn't control my own narrative. And to me, it was frustrating because the people that were accusing me, the people that were kind of attacking me knew me, but since someone controlled the narrative, I couldn't defend myself. So I started this, man, because my big homie, and we'll talk about this later, but my big homie put me on drums, and he would always take me to the studio to shed. And that's where you get your chops. That's where you get that's where everything comes out. That's where, you know, like you're shedding skin, like you're shedding the fat, like you're shedding all the excess. so you can become who you want to be and all that kind of stuff, man. And
Yeah.
so I took that after that happened to me, and I was like, man, there's people out there everywhere that's like who's misunderstood because no one takes the time to listen. So
Yeah.
that's why I call it the shed. And that's why, like, man, I love having people like you on, people like my boy Turd, TG, people who often are just walked by and misunderstood. And
Yeah.
I love having people have just explain themselves. People
Yeah.
who other people wouldn't give their time to, and for them to
Mm.
explain why, they are the way they are. And that
Yeah.
way, then you can judge them. Then you could say this, that, and the other. So
Mm.
that's kind of where that's kind of where my push came from. And like, I want to give people a voice who really aren't really given the mic, man. So
Yeah.
that's just, that's my goal, man. And then
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
eventually I'll get like you, man.
No, 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 no. You see, I like your idea better. Because, I
Nah.
mean, nah, like really though, when I think in Shed and even looking at your logo and just looking at your page, obviously it's real. The basis of it is music. So to even hear you describe, when you get into a shed, I wish I could play, some type of instrument. When you get into that
You
setting, it's
can.
like you
You can.
when you get into that setting, I mean, essentially you can tell your own truth through the music. You know what I mean? And I've been in a couple of those where dudes are just going crazy. Like they get their own solo and they just having not like it's like a fighter finally getting able to get in the ring. It's like a
Hmm.
hooper being able to get on the court. It's an outlet. It's a thing where, essentially you can be whoever you want to be, but more than anything, you get to be yourself and you get to
Yep.
like, so I like that concept, bro. Like just hearing the name, the Shed Podcast, I wouldn't have got that. I would have thought it was just strictly about music. But to
Mm.
hear that, like, nah, this is just a setting where you can just come and be whoever and tell your truth, be whoever you want to be. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
but being authentic, that's amazing, bro. I like that. That's slick. I like that. I like what you did there.
Hey, man.
I like what you did there. I like
I'm
what
just
you
trying to
did
catch
there.
up, man. And like one more thing, because I won't talk the whole thing about this, but like one thing that I find really important, and I feel like that will end a lot of stuff that we're in, is just unity, just
Yeah,
understanding why we are the way we are. Like,
yeah,
people are finally understanding why black people would always look twice or always look back before doing something, or like would always go in the like always walk in numbers.
yeah,
Like, if I'm going to go ride my bike, hey, can you come with me? And they're
yeah,
seeing why. And I feel like the more that we're explained, the more that people in general, black people, everybody, Christians, the more that we can explain why we are and people actually listen, I feel like a
yeah,
lot of more our problems will get solved, man.
yeah. No, I totally agree, man. I mean, obviously the topic of race has been something that's been a part of everybody's conversation for the past 2 or 3 months. Kind of crazy
Yeah.
because it's went from, Corona to race. Now we kind of back at Corona where nobody's actually bringing up a lot of the racial issues anymore. And I mean, it steeps so much further even back than we have recollection of.
Hmm.
The thing with race, and I was telling somebody this other day, like, it's a black, white, brown, yellow issue, but it's so much deeper than that.
Yep.
On a spiritual level, it's so much deeper than black, brown, white, black, Hispanic, or whatever. Um, this country's issues are so much deeper. And, as long as we're able to have platforms like this where we're able to actually bring people together and have realistic conversations
Hmm.
and get people to see
Without
us
getting
on a human
offended.
level without
Hmm.
getting offended, because that's all blacks are asking for in this country. You've
Hmm.
never really given us the opportunity to feel human in this country. So when you get upset or when people get upset at the idea of saying Black Lives Matter, no, all lives matter. I get that, but understand that all lives haven't been scrutinized the same in this country. All lives
Hmm.
outside of those of Caucasian lives
Yeah.
don't feel human. Hispanics don't feel human in this country. Blacks don't feel human in this country. Other ethnicities, other minorities aren't treated as human in this country, which is one of our first constitutional rights is to be treated as human beings. But yet in the Constitution, me and you are still identified as 3/5 of a person. We can't have those conversations if people aren't willing to sit at the table and actually have the tough conversations. So, you know, that's why it's important that we continue to raise our platforms, and that's why I'm proud of what you're doing. For sure, for sure. So I got a question. Talking about the NBA bubble. All right? While we're on the topic of unity and, you know, raising awareness, one of the biggest concerns about the NBA coming back was that certain players felt like it would take away from the awareness that was being brought to social injustice and, you know, racism. And so, you know, we see the names on the back of the jerseys. You know, we see certain things being put into the limelight. How do you feel like the NBA is handling the awareness of social justice and just being unified as one front? We see some players standing up. We see some players taking a knee. Like, how do you feel like the NBA as a whole, though, is handling this whole dynamic of race since they've been back?
Man, I love it. I love it because the NBA is mainly ran by white people. Like, Adam Silver's white, you know, and for him to take the time to actually cater to the players, it shows me, man, that, like, it's a heart thing. It's really just a heart thing and willing to understand. And once they shine the light on it, man, for them to be allowed to be expressive like that, like, have you seen some of the names on the jerseys, man? It's super dope. It's like,
I like how they did that.
I love it, man. It's like no other bosses have excuses now. Like, it allows people to express themselves. It allows the awareness to be, you know, not.
Well, let me ask you something. Why do you think the NBA is allowed to get away with some of the stuff that other corporations like the NFL, the major leagues? Why do you think the NBA is so gung-ho on making sure that the players are heard, or making sure that they shine a light on different issues, when other corporations that's been around, you know, MLB's been around, you know, way longer than them, NFL's been around just around the same time? Why do you think the NBA is so gung-ho on catering to its players?
Because, I mean, me personally, this is just my personal opinion, I think they're all allowed to do it, but they scapegoat it. So they'd be like, well, you know, this, that, and the other. But I think because basketball players, man, we're vocal. Like, we will not do, and with how much money, you know, LeBron is, how, you know, how expensive he is, and how vocal he is about things, it's like you almost can't ignore it. And then, dude, it's like, I feel like with the organization and management and stuff, they care, man. They, like, just straight care. And now that their eyes have been open, it's like, what can we do to help? And literally, that's all we could have asked for. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know what's taking the NFL so long. I don't know what's taking MLB so long.
I got a theory.
What's your theory?
I got a thing. So here's the thing. The NFL has less global superstars than the NBA. As basketball players, you got the privilege of being seen. Your face gets seen. Like, basketball sets the trends in all things sports, from the sneaks. Like, you didn't see people in the NFL start wearing crazy sneaks till they started wearing crazy sneaks in the NBA. You didn't really start to see more celebration, more people being amped in the NFL till you start seeing it. Like, and I'll take that last one back. The NBA, it's harder. The NBA, you're more likely to become a superstar in the NBA quicker than you are in the NFL. NFL, 7, 8 superstars maybe. Yeah, I'm talking about superstars, stars that transcend. In the NBA, you got Bron, you got Giannis, you got James Harden, who's worth $225 million, and more than $500 million if you're talking about Houston's ties to China. You're talking about his deal. Like, NBA players are visibly seen, like they're not wearing helmets the whole time. So the NBA, the players that put themselves in the position, especially after the Jordan era, that they run the NBA. It's clear without the players, the NBA it ceased to exist, because there's more unique players in the NBA than it is in the NFL. And the NFL is kind of like the next man up thing. So the same way they able to throw people like Dez Bryant and LaDainian Tomlinson could retire, and you don't like if you didn't watch football, you don't even remember. I asked a kid the other day, do he know who LaDainian Tomlinson is? And he didn't even know. It's like, bro, how do you not know who LT is, right? But guess who he did know? He knew who Scottie Pippen was. I'm like, how? How does that even work? You like,
that makes no sense.
Yeah, it don't make no sense. But it's because he's able to visibly see a Scottie Pippen. He's able to visibly see a Michael Jordan, but he's not able to see a Lawrence Taylor in his heyday, and he can't respect it the same. So with the NBA, is like I think Adam Silverman and even David Stern at some point realized like, oh nah, without the LeBrons and without the James Hardens and the Giannis's and the Russell Westbrooks, we go bankrupt. So we need to appease these dudes. We need to do what we got to do to keep these dudes.
Yeah, 100%.
We need, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to say it's not genuine. I'm going to say that they know what their strength is. And they know that we can't afford to play with these guys like that. Even like in the major leagues, it's like they'll send guys. I mean, shout out to the major leagues, still one of the American pastimes, but they're not as popular as football and basketball. You know what I mean? Like they don't have the same clout, same rank. So it's like players can get away with that. Oh, and the Jamal Murray. Shout out to Rob. And the Jamal Murray, you heard?
Man.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, the NBA is like they realize where their bread and butter is, and they realize they make a lot of money off of not only the teams but the individual players. Without the players, the NBA ceases to exist. And if I'm running a business, whether I agree or like am like not as gung ho for it, I don't want it to affect my bottom line. I know the moment that LeBron says, "All right, well, I'm sitting out if y'all don't want to support what we do."
Like, wait.
Wait. You know
What do you want?
What do you want? You know what I mean? So that's my theory. That's my theory on it. But I'm pretty sure Adam Silverman and other owners around the league have some owners around the league have but this is America. Come on. Half of them don't care. They just don't want to lose any money at the same time. And that's me.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's dope. So okay, let me ask you this: what is your biggest what do you think is the biggest problem in the bubble? And I was talking to you the other day about how practice players are coming alive. So,
bruh,
practice
players are coming alive. Shout out to TJ Warren. Like shout out to TJ. I saw shout out to Berto. I was at his crib yesterday. The bubble all first team popped up. It was TJ Warren.
Yeah.
D Book was on there. It was some unconventional names like Brian and Anthony Davis and Kawhi Leonard were not on the first team, right? And so I this is my biggest criticism about the bubble. And this can be taken as a criticism, and also, some people love it, some people hate it. I just like that basketball is back. I was 100%. Watching the game. I was watching the game earlier, and I caught a clip where somebody was like, "Yo, this is looking like LA Fitness basketball out here," because that's exactly what it looks like. Yeah. It looks like LA Fitness basketball. Like you get some stretches in the game, they throwing bad turnovers, they missing layups. It's like, bro, it's not organized. The game ain't slowed down. It looks like YMCA basketball. It looked like we hooping at Raymond back in the day.
I was about to say, bro.
That's what it looked like. That's what
with Butch.
That's with Butch.
Shout out to Butch and B, bro.
Shout out to Butch. But that's my biggest criticism is it doesn't, for me, the eye test, it doesn't really seem like playoff basketball. It does look more competitive, and they do look more hungry out there. But come on, some of these guys that's performing, hitting 45, 50, Voyage out there hitting 3 threes in a row. Like they hooping in their practice gym. They running they're running open gym in that gym. That's like they can't why can't you do this in front of 18 to 20,000 people, right? When the lights and some players, I think, and this isn't to give them a cop out, but certain players, certain superstars aren't playing motivated by it. Anthony Davis.
I was about to say that. Yep.
Anthony Davis is playing softer. LeBron is just looked like he was happy to get that. Yeah. Whereas you got guys like Tyler Johnson, you know what I mean? Joe Harris out there going crazy. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest criticism about the NBA bubble right now is that it just doesn't really seem as competitive as you would hope for it to seem. And it's just real sloppy basketball. That's my biggest thing. It's sloppy basketball. It's not. I don't feel like I'm watching NBA basketball. I feel like I'm watching very high level college basketball. Yeah, very high level pickup basketball. I don't feel like I'm really watching NBA basketball. That's my only criticism.
Man, I would say because just watching LeBron, like he's in this like just nonchalant, just like we win, we win.
Yeah, you're on autopilot.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like just like your point, and it's crazy that you said that. Some players need a crowd. Like some players need that motivation, that yelling, that roar, or even silencing a crowd. Like some players need that as motivation and stuff like that. Since they don't have it, it's like, well, what do I?
Even Kawhi looks on autopilot. Like Kawhi looks like he's on autopilot. The only superstar in the top 5 that's really out there just wrecking everything that move with or without a crowd is Giannis. Right.
So let me ask you about Giannis real quick, and then I won't keep up your time. But 2 hoopers, you talk about basketball. What do you rate Giannis, bro? Like, what do you his skill set and what he does, bro? Like, what do you? Because I'm a fan. I like how he came up, bro. But I'm like,
I mean, so what we rating? We doing 1 to 10, or we
1 to 10?
I think Giannis is a skill-wise, when I'm talking about skill, for his size, dominance, the whole 9, Giannis for me is a solid 8.9.
That's higher than me, bro.
Giannis is an 8.9, and a lot of that is purely because he's super athletic. He knows how to utilize his athleticism. He can play with his back to the basket. He actually has moves. He actually has moves. You know what I mean? Like he got some moves. It's not like Zion or like Blake when he first came in.
Yeah,
they burying themselves. Yeah, they burying themselves under the basket. No, Giannis actually got some moves. He's able to handle the ball pretty well. My biggest criticism about him is that he can't shoot. But defensively and offensively, he is a force to be reckoned with. He's scary. And so for that, until he really gets like a legitimate jump shot, right, and he's able to close out games.
Or even a mid-range.
I mean, yeah, that mid-range shaky too. That's the only reason I give him 8.9. But it's like I'll give Ben Simmons like an 8.5. Ben Simmons with a jump shot is unstoppable. So I feel the same way about Giannis, but Giannis has a dog in him. Like he has that Kobe gene. Like
that's
even if
true.
He isn't like Giannis, rest in peace. Giannis, skill wise, to your point, is not better than a lot of players. Probably like he's not better skill, but he got that dog in him that just makes him better.
You can't teach that, yeah.
You can't like yourself, right? I remember when you started first hooping. Like with us, or when I first started hooping with you, no, really. It's like, all right, skill-wise, you could tell he's still working, but he outworks everybody on the floor. So he's going to, like, everybody's always going to pick him up because he's going to grab all the rebounds. He driving, he dipping. That was before you got, the little, that's before you got all that. Before you got all the handles and all that, you were just a wild goon out there just breaking everything down. You heard? Bro, I remember that. Like, I was like, yo, I mean,
this dude is reckless.
Feel like that. But he's reckless. I'm saying he like, I don't want to guard him because he's gonna go 100 miles per hour the whole game. And he got a dog in him that can't be stopped. Like sometimes that makes, even if you're not better skill wise, at that point, at that moment in time, that makes you better than me. If you want it more than I do, that makes you better than me. Even if you're not better skill wise. And Giannis wanted more than everybody else on the floor. I can't take that away from him. And so if he had a jump shot,
I never thought of it like that.
Or a turnaround, he'd be a 9. He'd be a 9.9. It wouldn't be nobody. It wouldn't be no. Just like AD. I feel the same way about AD. AD is an 8.9 in my opinion, just because he's inconsistent with the dog in him. And AD got way more skill than Giannis. So imagine if AD got the dog in him.
It's a wrap.
That's my thing on Giannis. That's my thing on Giannis.
I won't talk too much about it because we got other stuff to talk about. But like to your point, that's an excellent point. I never really thought of it like that. I just thought he was just running and dunking. You know what I mean?
I
So
mean, in retrospect, it is that.
yeah, no, it is. But bro, like even if he had a consistent mid range and like a go-to move, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like if they clog up the lane, he has a go-to. Like he'd be what?
Boy,
It would be scary, bro.
that boy would be dangerous. Even if he had like an offensive tool, like that's why I think the kid Michael Porter. That's what makes him so dangerous because
Hmm.
he can score. He can score. Like, and he's showing that dog right now in the bubble. Hopefully that continues after
Practice
the bubble.
player,
Yeah. But hopefully that continues after the bubble. But it's like,
hmm.
God, I mean, that's becoming a new player though. Like 6'11", 6'10", able to put the ball on the floor. It's just what separates the good ones that's able to do that, and the great ones is the ones who got that killer in them. And
Yeah,
Giannis got a killer. He strikes fear in people, man. He's like the Mike Tyson of basketball right now. Like
that's true.
when he figures out how to win, oh my God, it's over. It's over. So speaking on the Shed podcast, you mentioned that your big homie put you on to the drums. So that was gonna be one of my questions. Like, how'd you get into the drums? Because a lot, I mean, for who may not know, you are talented on the drums. You actually do have experience, and you actually know what you're doing up there. You do your thing. You said your big homie put you up on the drums. Tell me more about that and what attracted you to the drums in the first place.
Man, that's a funny, crazy story, man. So basketball was ending, and we just got done, with the championship and everything. And low key, man, I'm sitting in the gym, and I'm sitting with ice on my knees, ice on my ankles, icy hot, and I'm like, I can't do this forever, dog. Like, I'm like, what's next? So like,
Y'all said that like he was like 35. G
well,
said
you
that
know
like he
how
was
it is, man.
35.
Hey, bro, it felt
No
like
way.
35, dog.
I feel you on that.
You
I
know what I
feel you on
mean?
that.
And
I feel
like,
you on that.
so I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking of what's next, like, because that's what Kobe is, man. Like, Kobe, it's honestly Kobe inspired, because he, like, after basketball, he went into writing, he went into production. Like, it was always what's next, and I'm like, bro, what's next? And I think about music, man, and I used to dabble in drums back in the day, but nothing crazy, like nothing like serious. So I was like,
Yeah.
man, let me work towards getting this back. And then I met my big homie, Marquise James, shout out Keith.
Shout out to the big
And
homie.
yeah, bro, and he kind of like mentored me and groomed me to play drums, and he's a phenomenal drummer. Like
Yeah.
he is an A1 drummer. And the thing that was so dope, and I think the thing that actually made me decent at drums and stuff like that is off the stage. A lot of off the stage stuff, combos, a lot of off the stage, like the way you would approach things. And he would literally take, because he ran front of house. So he was a sound guy, big audio guy. He actually graduated from Full Sail. So his
Okay.
mind is
Shout
just,
out to Full Sail.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And he actually sat me down and like showed me what to listen to, what to do, this and that and the other. And I'm sitting there like Kobe and Mike, man. I'm like, bro, like how can I get here from here? And the way he
Yeah.
just like showed me, and the way, because at the time where I was at, it was real stagnant. It was real, just there wasn't really growth. So I was getting worse. And he snatched me up, actually. He snatched me up and was like, you can't keep doing this. So
Yeah.
we would go up to the studio and shed, and like we would do like almost like horse for drums, and he would kill me, bro. Like he would there was one night he did this one beat, bro, and I about walked out crying, bro, and I'm grown. I'm Bro, it was him because he's super petty. This is why we were like, and we're tight, man. Like he's like my Tim Grover, But bro, I'm a grown man, and he did this lick, bro, and I'm sitting there like like when you're losing to 2K, like Evan Clark. Shout out to Evan Clark and his L's. But I was, but I'm sitting there like. I'm biting my lip. I'm trying to hold the tear. I'm trying to hold the tears back. And then when we leave the studio, I didn't say a word. I didn't say
Yeah.
a word, bro. And then I'll never forget that next morning. That next morning, I got to the RMA because I got a key, and like I worked, man. And just that drive and that Mamba mentality, man, has got me
Yeah.
where I'm at, bro. So
Okay.
like you honestly could do it too, man. It's not hard at all. It's just like just feel,
Uh,
brother. And plus, you're from New Orleans, bro.
hey man,
It's in your
listen,
blood.
it's
It's in the
there.
water. It's in the water, bro.
It's there. I used to be in the band back in the G. I don't know, people know that. I wasn't very good though. I wasn't very good. I was
Hey,
like
man.
I was in the middle of the pack, you know what I'm saying? So that way they couldn't hear me. They couldn't hear me on the outside, you know what I mean? Never led a line, never did none of that. But I was in the parades though, right? Gunshots and all. I was in there getting it, you know what I mean? Marching. They wanted me to try out for drum major, but it was only to fill a quota. They ain't really want me to be no drum major, you know what I'm
Heck
saying?
no, bro.
You heard?
Yeah, bro. No, I just fell in love with it, man, and it became my new grind. So like
Yeah.
I was looking for that next thing, like what can I do to push myself? What can I do to take this mentality of basketball and put it somewhere else? And I found that, man. I fell
So
in love and
what are you looking to do with that? Are you looking to continue to build in that, become professional? Like, what are you wanting to do with that?
man, yeah, become professional, start recording, start like playing at, different churches and stuff. And then
Yeah.
now a couple of things I've been working on is learning different instruments. So I've been learning different instruments, training my ear and staying like because I got a couple big homies that you need that big homie like what you and P and Matt were like back in the day when I was at Rama trucking people, you know what I'm saying? And like you need those
Right.
OGs that'll set you straight. Those
Right.
OGs that'll be like, hey, young blood, like this ain't the move, bro.
Yeah.
And I found that and they're keeping me accountable a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's been my new thing, man. So hopefully I can
Do you
start
feel
like
like, and one more thing, do you feel like it's a call for you? Do you feel like you're called to be in this space, in the musical
absolutely.
space?
Absolutely. It definitely it feels right. It doesn't feel forced. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't just feel like, oh, I need a new hobby so I don't blow up or I don't end up 30 at my parents' house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a blessing because a lot of things that I'm able to do that God has allowed me to do, like
Yeah.
other people haven't even done yet. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And I know it has to be God, bro, because like
Yeah.
the stuff I've done, like it has to be God. So I
Yeah.
know I'm walking in His will, and man, it's been a blessing, bro. It's
Oh,
been a
yeah.
blessing. So
I would,
let me.
I would encourage you to continue to keep that. Because
What's
how old are
up?
you? How old are you?
I am 26.
26. So usually when you walking out on faith, as you know, and you kind of trying something different that you've never really done before, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, first I'm kind of walking on water with this, right? Trying not to drown, you know? So he was making progress before he started to drown.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of us that struggle and walking in this walk of doing something that God called us to do is we'll make so much progress at the beginning. At the first moment, it looks like we're about to drown, we start sinking. So I would just encourage you that as you walking and as you elevating and you've been able to do things that people that's been doing what you do for 10 years have been able to do. At
Yeah,
some point, at some point, it gets kind of stagnant. But that's not because the walk is stagnant, and that's not because that's not what you're supposed to be doing. God just wants to kind of see it. You're going to keep your eyes on me. So I would encourage you, even before you get to that moment, because that moment comes for all of us, to continue to keep your eye on why God has you doing what He has you
absolutely.
doing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Absolutely.
that I see that too much. Is like with a lot of my people, man, God called me to do this, that, and the third. And the moment that it doesn't work out for a month, 2 months, even this podcasting thing, I've talked to
Oh,
plenty of
bro.
people about wanting to start podcasts and the third. And I
Mm-hmm.
always ask them, like, what are you going to do when you look up and, 50 people that listen to your first episode out of support and only 3 people listen to your third episode? It's like, you're going to take your eyes off Jesus. And as soon as you take your eyes off Jesus, you're going to start, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's right.
stay the
Yeah, bro.
course. Stay the course. So that's encouraging everybody that's out here, on here. If you got something that God's called you to do, He'll allow you to make progress like He did with Peter as he was walking to the boat. But He gonna give you a second where you gotta stand on your own too,
Mm-hmm.
and He ain't gonna be waving you down, talking about keep your eyes on me. It's gonna be dependent on you and your eyes alone to keep your eyes on Jesus. And, you know, sometimes he creates stagnant situations that may seem stagnant, but that's really not stagnant, just to see what we're going to do, just to see if we're going to keep our eyes on, and that's, you know, been one of my things. So I would encourage you with that as well, because I love that story. That sounds like God. So I don't want to look up a year from now and it's like, you know, I mean, I was going up and the opportunity stopped coming, and it was kind of like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that. You buff, but you know, we have to box.
Hey, bro, nah, it don't matter how buff you get, bro. The OGs, man, they can still throw hands. They still OGs, bro. And like,
man, my back getting kind of old.
Nah,
you know bro. I can still throw the jab. I like throw you a little jab.
Nah, you might catch me, bro. Them OGs got them hands. As soon as
you swing back, I'm gonna be like, all right, bro, all right, chill.
All right, chill. I'm good, bro.
Right.
No,
my bad.
Man.
I ain't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, bro. Everything you said is spot on, man. That's why I'm also thank God for people like you, man. Like growing up, like the people he put in my life, the people that he puts in my life now, it has to be God. Like everything I've gone through, you know, God has been there, and like me knowing you and being close to you, all that is just a testament to that. And like one of the main reasons I picked up drums and stuff, like because when I have a kid and a family, I want to be able to give him the option. Like he doesn't have to do basketball just because I did basketball or football. Like he can do something else. And thinking about that, let me ask you this, bro. So like, I know, you know, you're happily married, and how long has it been?
I'm actually not married anymore. What?
I'm just playing. Yeah. No, I'm just playing. So what, bro, so tell me, like, because as a millennial, you know, I feel like marriage is more of an accomplishment than like a actual, like, you know, like you're finding love. Like it feels like it's something that you can hang on a wall.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's lost its value. So tell me, you know, from your experience, what the smoke is about marriage, dog. Like it's all.
Well, let me clear it up, because not only yourself, but a lot of people actually don't know that. I've been divorced since November, and so it wasn't a big thing that I made out and that I, you know, just put out to the public or whatever. So don't feel any type of ways.
Oh no, bro.
Yeah. Don't feel any type of ways. It's all good. It's actually, I'm having deja vu. I felt like this moment was meant to happen. So, so yeah, I've actually been divorced for 7 months now, or since November. So that's like 9 months. And so, you know, it's been a long process, tough road, but I'm on the other side of it. No hate, no, you know, just, you know, differences. You know, it happens. You know, life. Definitely not something that I am proud of, but not something that I live in shame about either. You know, it is what it is. And I'll tell that story at some point. As far as your question, why do people see marriage as a destination? Same reason why they see everything else as a destination, bro. They see somebody else got it and they want it. You know what I mean? We've bought into what social media has told us about marriage.
Yep.
We've bought in the celebrity couples, you know, and then be puzzled when entanglements pop up. We've bought into what couples in church look like, you know, couples that we followed in church. And then, you know, we get married because everybody in church tells you to get married, you know, because that's just the Christian way to do it. So many different influences on why get married when they do, and why people look at marriage as a destination. There's not enough people being nitty gritty about what marriage is. Because a lot of people in themselves don't even know why they married. So you get a bunch of lost people that's married, especially millennials. Like us as millennials, we're highest amongst divorce rates because either one, with going off of what everybody in the world tells us to do, whether you're believer, non-believer, whatever, or whether you just living in the moment. It's like, I might die tomorrow. I'm gonna marry this person. Or whether it's for gain, whether you don't want to be alone, and it's like, but you don't focus on the covenant side of it. You just focus on the title. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it is, bro. I think a lot of people look at marriage as because that's a hard lesson I had to learn. Like, marriage is not just a destination. You know what I mean? It's not just a final resting place. It's a whole nother side of work that goes into that. It's a whole nother dying of self that goes into that. And we don't see enough of that, or we don't have enough. I don't think we necessarily had enough older people talking to us about that, even down to our own parents. Our own parents don't talk to us about the ugly side of marriage or the unselfish side of marriage. They just kind of, so even us going off of what our parents had, we only going off of what we saw our parents have. We don't know what, and then you get older and you realize, oh yeah, like your father did XYZ. Like, he did what? Not daddy.
Yeah.
Not daddy ain't do that. Daddy, why she
Daddy
lying on
do
you?
that.
Why she lying on you? Nah, son, I did. But she was doing X, Y, and Z. I was like, Mommy, you ain't do that. What was that? Oh, you was in the crib, in the room. Like, you was in there. You just didn't see it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we going off of, to give my final, short but brief answer. People look at marriage people look at marriage as a destination because of all the other influence outside of what the Word of God says. The Word of God, because the Word of God gives you the truth about marriage. It says you have to love your wife as Christ loved the church. It says wives, love your husbands the same. It also says, children are to obey their parents. The next verse is, parents, you can't provoke your children. So it's like we read all these different parts of the word, except the ones it's like,
wait, hold on, but don't provoke us.
Yeah. What you mean submit? Like, and it's the same way. Like, it don't just say that men, women submit to their husbands. It says a husband submit to your wives as well. We skip over them parts and we just go off of what everybody else is showing us. And at that point, it's just a destination to get to. But, we don't get the real on what the actual process is after that. That's what I think, me personally. I'm not an expert. That's what I think.
Man, I like listening to people like you a lot more than I would someone that would sugarcoat me and be like, well, you got to do this, but it's awesome. You do this and that. Like, nah, give me the real. That's why I feel like it's like,
real in the field.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, it's real in the field, brother. It's not for the faint of hearts. Millennials, we have this thing where it's about self. And I think that's the number one reason why we as millennials fail in marriage, because it is about self. And marriage is totally not about self. It's so much of, if you go into marriage feeling like it is about self, you will fail in your marriage. You will fail. And if you do survive in your marriage, you're surviving to pay bills. You're surviving not to break up a home. But you will not be happy with this other person 10 to 15 years. Marriage is so not about self, bro. If that was one piece of advice I can give you as you're thinking about it, prepare to die to self. If you do not want to die to self, your marriage will be hell. It will be hell. It may not be hell the first 5 years. It may not be hell the first 6 years. But it will be hell at some point in time. That's how we get these Oprah and these Dr. Phil shows. Like, Tyler Perry is getting these stories from somewhere. He's not just coming up with these stories out of the random blue air. You see all these Tyler Perry movies, these people have been married 20 years, but he got 5 side chicks. She got 30 concubines. If you are not prepared to die to self, then bro, just go out here and fornicate, bro. But do not get married whatsoever. I'm gonna keep it so gangster with you. Just burn with lust. Do not get married if you are not prepared to die for self, and I mean die to the very core of yourself, like everything that you want. You can have your desires, you can have your wants, but if you are not prepared to collaborate and to compromise and to do the two main C's, collaborate and compromise, do not get married. It's not for us. And millennials have a hard time doing that. I think that's part of the reason we be failing, man. It's a hard time because we so used to thinking about ourselves, bro.
I think another thing, I mean, I'm no expert or anything. It's just from what I've observed and personal opinion, man. It's like they what, like what you said, you only see half of it. You only see the good side. You only see the, but that's
Man.
why, like, when ish hits the fan, it's like, okay, what are you gonna do? Like, to me, you earn more points with me if we go through something and come out better than how we got there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we get an argument about, like, you saw a text on my phone and, and we're arguing about that, and
I thought you was about to say something about toilet paper or something. You went to the deep end. Like,
no, brother. Like, you saw a text on my phone, or like, something like that, and we talk about it, and when the argument is actually not to win it but to solve it, I feel like if I can go to war with you, like, if I'm about to go into battle and I'm looking and you're running right next to me, like, to me, that is something that should be more attractive than how many IG likes they can get you, or like how much money their parents have, or like how much stuff they give you. Because at the end of the day, when you're going through hell, when you're in the trenches, and you're just looking at your off-whites, you're just looking at, the free wedding,
right.
And you're like, man,
none of it matter. At the end of the day, none of it matter. None of it matters. None of it matters at the end of the day. F them off-whites. None of it matters, bro. Like, none of it matters. If she pissed off at you, but you got off-whites in the closet, I promise you. You gonna win, like, them off-whites is not gonna matter. Well, you know what I mean? When she in the other room and she mad and y'all, like, at a standstill over just two personal opinions, just over two opinions that just, it's like, it ain't even like a matter of right or wrong. It's just my opinion versus your opinion. And you strong, she's strong. And it's like, I ain't really backing up. I ain't really backing up. Them off-whites don't you got to go look at the free wedding that you got just to remind yourself of why you
getting there. Yeah.
Why am I here? You know what I'm saying? I'm about to, I want to throw something. Like, you know what I mean? F them off-whites. You know what I mean? I just want peace in my house. F them off-whites. I don't know. You heard? Bro, listen, marriage in itself is it's a spiritual science that a lot of us millennials, we don't even look for the information to really understand the science. Unfortunately, it takes people like myself to come out on the other side of it to let you know. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. But it's so many elements to it, bro. It's not even what you said. What you said was dope. It's layers to that. That's got to be figured out, because that might get you through the first 5. But at 35, it might take something totally different. At 35, after a couple kids and a mortgage, and you didn't move states, it might take something totally. It might take a rejuvenation. You just like. In my mind, I know nothing until I've done it, till I've been through it, and I can tell you, like, that mindset right there, brother, keep that, because that's gonna get you through the first 5, 6. After that, that's waters I ain't even been in. So good luck, God bless. Well, hey, I'll see you at the top. I'll see you when we get there. You heard?
Hey, right. if I got OGs like you, man, I'm gonna make you just might get that Hillary Clinton 3 a.m. call, like, hey, bruh.
Ooh,
I gotta sleep on your couch, bro. Like,
hey, man, listen,
hey,
for
bro.
my brothers up north, listen, all my dogs is now married. They know I'm that phone call away, baby. If anybody understands, ROC understand. Right? That's one of the beautiful things about being a divorce homie in the group. It's like, like I don't ever look at that as even since being divorced, I've never looked at myself as like, man, I'm the divorce homie. I'm sad. No, bro. Listen, if anybody understands, I understand. I got you. You know what I mean? If you want to come over here and cuss her smooth out, say stuff that you wouldn't say to her face, I got you. I understand. You know what I mean? Because when I got married, a lot of my homies was barely in relationships. So I ain't really had them. You got somebody now. You know what I mean? So I understand, 100%. Especially within your first few years. So, bro, same for you. Whenever you cross that, I'm going to celebrate you at the joint. I'm going to dap you up and be real close to you. Be like, hey, listen, I got you.
Hey, I'll be like, My
Yeah,
dog.
yeah, I
My
got you.
dog,
I
bro.
got you. Just, you know what I'm saying? When you walking past everybody and you see me and I give you, just know I
Yep.
got you. I got you. You heard? So wrapping it up, man.
hmm
As
let,
far as your no, go ahead. My bad.
let me ask you this. I mean,
Right.
we'll get into all that later on, future collabs and all that kind of stuff, because I really want to talk
Facts.
to you about it. But
Facts.
so you talked about like how, when it's just a fan, like how you respond, and you even brought up Peter and Jesus. So like with your
Mm-hmm.
platform, what has been like the biggest like obstacle in your way? What has been like the biggest, and also what's been your motivation? Like why
Uh,
haven't you quit? In for a better use of terms.
Man, that's a great question. The biggest obstacle is what I told you
hmm
is staying consistent when you don't always see the consistent support. I'm a millennial like you, so people's opinions of what I'm doing matter. As much as people try to make it in front like what they like somebody like a Jaden Smith. If Jaden Smith didn't have a million people telling him what he did was cool, it would matter what he did to like he would care about what people said. So you want people to support you. You want people to support what you're doing. You want people to see the vision that you have. But a lot of people aren't necessarily prepared for that. And me constantly having to remind myself on why I got here in the first place. Who gave me the platform in the first place?
That's true.
I no like none of my friends, none of my family members, people who love me, who've known me for years on end, gave me the idea of starting a podcast. None of them.
hmm
None of them. It was God. None of them gave me the idea of turning Reach Over Culture into a media group. None of them. None of them. It was God. It was a God thing alone. So whether they support this week and don't listen to an episode next week, or yeah, I heard
hmm
your episode in March, but it's June, and
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
listened to that episode. I've learned to not get offended by that.
Mm.
I've never really gotten offended by that, but I've learned not to let that mess with me mentally. You know
Yeah,
what I
got
mean?
you.
Like people are going to support you as they deem fit to themselves. So reminding myself of that and reminding myself like as long as God is in the middle of it, all the other stuff is going to take care of itself. I just got to keep doing what I'm doing. Like I said, walking to the boat, I can't keep my eyes off Jesus. The moment I keep my eyes off Jesus, because the waves are getting a little more shaky and things are looking a little bit more blurry, I'm going to drown. And then you got to come pull me out. You know what I mean? When I look at some of the most inconsistent times that I've had since launching in 2018, it's because I got stagnant and
hmm
the things got wavy, life got crazy. People weren't really supporting like they were at first. And then it allowed me to go into the space where I was like, well, I'm cool on it. I don't really know if this is something I want to do anymore. Right. So that's been the biggest obstacle, is continuing to be consistent, even though people haven't been consistent with their support, and that happens,
hmm
One shared podcast is averaging 2,000-3,000 people alive. All them same people that couldn't keep up with your podcast will be right there like, I've been
hmm
listening since day one. Like
You're
it
like,
just happened.
nah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't even turn them down. It's like, yo, you was tuning in
hmm
inconsistently, but now you on it every live. I mean, I get you though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
bro, it's crazy. The science of it is amazing, bro. Like some people will go into a lot. Like even think about for me myself. Sometimes you'll go on a live with 10 people and log right back out, but going to live with 100 people and think, oh, where's 100 people? And they might be talking about something. Like it's crazy how the human mind works. So
mm.
that's been my biggest obstacle, staying consistent when everybody else didn't really show consistent support. Because and it's not their job to. God gave you the vision. They didn't give them the vision. It's not their baby. Like I get
Mm.
so I try to understand people that get frustrated when people don't help them or this, that, and the third. It's like God didn't give them that vision. He gave you that vision. Like
Yep.
like even with me and you, like if you would say, Rock, I need your help with the Shed Podcast X, Y, and Z, I'm only gonna give you what I can give you, right?
hmm